Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
KTLK AM 1150. Welcome to Nelson Radio. We're back with our legal icon. That's a description.
I like
our
that.
Legal icon,
I like that a lot.
Michael Fell from the law office of Michael Fell. Welcome back.
It's great to be back, Rob. Great to be back.
I don't want to call you Michael Fell. I want to call you Felly Fell or Fellman or some other name that Michael Fell. Coming back with this show, we're going to look at the numbers. We're going to run this show through the numbers don't lie, Mike.
I like that. Especially coming from a lawyer. And when they look at my bill, I love this. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, just
put that on my gravestone, will ya?
So let me tell you a little bit about our show coming up. We've got Fell and I covering street noise, providing relevant, maybe irrelevant, and accurate information about business, real estate, mortgage, and law. We're going to move into segment 2, and Mike is going to take a little closer look at one facet of his practice. What happens with life when a DUI gets in the way?
And you know what? All joking aside, unfortunately, this happens all too often. We're going to tell you all about the numbers on that. But good to listen in. If you or your friends ever get in this situation, I'm going to give you some information that's valuable.
Yeah, the segment hasn't started yet, Mike. Segment 3, we've got our real estate expert contributor, Bram Klein from Keller Williams, how to buy in the dynamics of today's market. And that's going to be some key information. There's a lot of frustrated buyers out there.
Yep.
And then, of course, segment 4, we've got the famed Coach's Corner with Coach Jim Herrick. And rounding out that, our market analyst, Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com. And then we move into the end of our show with Stump the Experts. And, of course, our call out for sponsorship for Treasures of Africa, which we want to do each week.
Absolutely.
So let me throw a couple of facts that you probably didn't know.
These are the numbers. These are the numbers we're talking about.
And they're brought to you by our partner, Bob's Big Boy. Nothing better than a Big Boy combo, a platter, onion rings, and a chocolate shake. That's what we're going to right after the show.
That's right. And then we're going to talk about the numbers of how many heart attacks we can have after. No, it's great food. We love going there.
So this past week, the Register was talking about astronomical odds. We do want to look at the numbers and where they direct us. But get this. Tell me if you knew this. Odds of becoming U.S. president, 1 in what? What do you think?
1 in 2?
1 in 43 million.
1 in 43. Wow.
1 in 43 million.
So I got a shot. You
do, yeah.
All right. My wife gave me those same odds when I asked her to marry me.
Yeah. All right. Here's this. Odds that Facebook was mentioned during divorce proceedings. 1 in 3 divorce proceedings brought up the issue of Facebook. I don't know what that's about.
That is hilarious.
And
that's great.
I think
that is great.
I think that there's some friending going on that's maybe not appropriate.
Or there's some invitations out there
maybe.
When marriages are getting tough.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. All right. So enough of that. Let me give you some serious numbers. This week, S&P Case and Shiller Index posted a national increase. 7.2% increase in value across the country. And then right here in our LA basin, about a little over 10% increase.
Good to know.
So the numbers are increasing. The numbers are good. Wall Street Journal Market Watch, pending home sales rose 4.5% in January, one of the biggest bumps. It's a little bit of a confusing number because the percentage sounds good, but the number of transactions of pending sales is actually down year over year from last January.
Well, and that's going to tie in very well when we get to our segment with Bram Klein. He's going to tell us about what you do if you're a buyer out there and how to kind of inspire more home sales.
And home sales are on the rise as well. In the month of January, 0.4% up. And again, basically, we're having explosive numbers in pending sales, in home sales, and appreciation that's continuing to climb. So the signal is all good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, you got me in a
yeah, thanks for that.
I drink a coffee. I got to stay awake during the show.
All right, so let's take a look at a couple other things. This segment brought to you by Bob's Big Boy, Street Noise. You love that, don't you?
I do.
You're going to just power down one of those.
I am. Matter of fact, I think after the show, I'd like to go out over there and have maybe a Big Boy combo.
There you go. If you want to contact us during the show, you can reach us at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136 for any questions for myself, Nelson, or for my special guest host, Mike Fell. So those fun figures aside, let's take a look at a couple other things that we should stare at as far as the numbers. What do you got there?
Well, how about we talk about some reasons that people give for going through foreclosure?
Yeah, and this is on a serious note. The foreclosure numbers, it's really interesting. When we looked at this, 40%, I guess this isn't a surprise, certainly with the depth of the recession that hit, but 40% claim that it's a drop in earnings, loss of income, drop in earnings.
And that's what's causing them to go through foreclosure. And unfortunately, I think that that is all too true. And again, on a serious note, that's tough out there when people are losing their houses to foreclosure.
Well, and it's interesting because you have these special circumstances that if you've gone through foreclosure and suffered loss of a spouse, loss of a child, loss of a serious illness, something like that, you can actually re-enter the market a lot sooner. But the biggest cause through this last recession has been loss of income. And the lending industry, the finance industry, isn't considering that a hardship in their analysis. They're saying that's part of the rank and file who didn't lose money during this last recession. And so there's no forgiveness for that.
So other than the loss or the drop in earnings, let's talk about some more numbers, Rob.
Okay,
you think you got some good numbers for us on this.
So 16% claimed that their debt load was simply too heavy. They just got in over their heads. That's not a surprise.
Nope.
Only 8% claimed that they became unemployed. And that number doesn't make sense to me, especially with all of the loss of jobs that are out there. But only 8% claim that it was the loss of their job that led to their foreclosure.
Which actually could be looked at as the half glass full. If only 8% because of the loss of jobs, maybe that's just talking about people maybe budgeting a little better, things that our listeners can think about to avoid any type of foreclosures.
Well, and then 5% said ill health or loss of the breadwinner. And then here's your category. 3% said the cause of their foreclosure was due to marital issues. So the foreclosure numbers coming out of the recession, I want to ask this question to Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com when he comes on to our show. But specifically, the foreclosure numbers, I think, are going down, not because there's less financial strain, but now with all of the litigation that's been taking place, the banks are doing more to try and assist and help people recover and stay in their homes.
Which, again, is great news out there for listeners because when they were unwilling to do that in the months and years prior, we're seeing that increase, which is extremely helpful to keep your home.
Exactly. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with Michael Fell. This segment brought to you by the original Bob's Big Boy, right here off of Riverside Drive in Burbank. If you want to call us, you can connect 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Stay with us. Michael Fell from the law office of Michael L. Fell. He's going to give us some coaching on if you get a DUI. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DUI license 0235301.
Welcome back here with Nelson Radio. I'm with my special guest host, Mike Fell, from your law office, the law office of Michael Fell.
That's a great intro. Thank you, Nelson.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, our newest show sponsor, STA Jets. This segment brought to you by STA Jets. You can charter a jet anywhere in the world. They'll bring you there on time. Perfect experience if you need to travel. Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or you can click on nelsonradio.com. We're going to go into this next segment and just look at really a life issue. It hits a lot of us, and that's the issue of DUIs.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
they're innocent enough. We as you say in your ad for your law office, they usually start off innocent enough. I just had a couple of drinks. I was with pals. There was no issue. And then all of a sudden, you're cuffed and in jail and going, what just happened?
And it can happen to anybody. It's non-discriminatory, if you will.
Well, this is just one segment of your law practice, but I wanted to throw a couple of stats from really how prevalent, how common this is. In California last year, there was almost 200,000 DUI arrests. Almost every county had less arrests in 2012 than 2011, so at least the issue is pointed in the right direction.
Correct.
But 200,000 people, median age 30, males, and I didn't realize this, but males represent nearly 3/4 of the people that are arrested for driving under the influence, 77%.
Yep.
Orange County claimed about 15,000 arrests, and then L.A. County, they must be thirsty up in the greater L.A. area, almost 40,000 DUI arrests.
Right.
Why is
No,
that?
It's an epidemic out there.
Yeah.
And I think what you said is absolutely true, Nelson, is that you get out there, you have a couple of drinks with your wife or your friends, and you think that you're fine. You get behind the wheel, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you see that red and blue light behind you.
So let me ask you the obvious question. I just get pulled over. I'm stopped. What do I do?
Well, the first thing that you want to do is you probably want to roll down your window. And one of the reasons you want to roll down the window is kind of let some air get in there, wake yourself up a little. And the next thing that you want to do is you want to put your hands on the steering wheel. Yeah. And the reason that you want to put your hands up on the steering wheel is every time the police make a stop, it's a safety concern. Right. They see your hands up on the steering wheel. It's going to make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Your window's already down, so you've got the fresh air. And the next thing is just be polite with the officer. Do not be belligerent. Don't try to talk your way out of it. Answer the officer's questions and be respectful.
Yeah. Keeping your hands in visibility. I got pulled over this week. And the officer went back to his car to obviously do a check on me, and I got out of my car because I couldn't find my insurance card.
That's a big no-no.
And he was very polite, but he said, listen, you getting out of your car makes everybody nervous. Just go sit in the driver's seat, and I'll be with you in a minute.
Right.
I didn't realize it. I thought it was a nice gesture that he didn't have to stand on the traffic side of my car.
Well, and the fact that he had no clothes on probably bothered him a bit too. But okay.
So, chemical test. If I get pulled over, do I have to take a chemical test?
Okay, that is a great question. So here's the deal. Let me get a little technical with you. There's something that police officers have out in the field called a PAS, a preliminary alcohol screening device. You have a right not to take that test. It's a breath test. So if you're listening and you get pulled over, the first thing you need to ask the officer is this a pass test? When he says, will you do a breath test? Is it a pass test? If he says, yes, it is, then say, do I have to take it? He should answer you honestly and say, no, don't take that pass test.
Is that different than a breathalyzer?
It is, because a breathalyzer is an evidential test. You are required to take an evidential test, which is breath or blood. If you refuse,
what happens?
You're going to lose your license for a year. Regardless.
Whether you're intoxicated or not.
Absolutely, because when you sign up for your driver's license, that's basically what you're saying is, I will take that evidential chemical test upon demand of a police officer. Okay, so the first step is, if they want you to blow into a machine, you need to say to them, hey, listen, is this a pass test? If they say yes, I would just confirm and say, I have a right not to take this test. Is that correct, officer? He or she should tell you that is correct. At that point, the officer will say, but you do now have to take an evidential test. Do you want breath or blood? My response to everybody is always take blood.
As far as accuracy is concerned?
Couple things. As far as accuracy is concerned, and also as far as the time that it'll take to take a breath test, a blood test. Because what they're going to do is, if you request that blood test, they will take you back to the station. They're not going to draw your blood at the scene. And the longer that you wait to take that blood test, your blood is going to dissipate, because the human body is going to be burning off that alcohol. So it's always a better idea to take that blood test, not only for that reason, but exactly what you said. It's a lot more accurate.
I found it ironic that a lawyer was saying, I would always take blood. Yeah, that's perfect. You're listening to my special guest host, Mike Fell, from the law office of Michael Fell down in Orange County, California.
Did you just say Michael Fell down?
No, Michael Fell, law office. Brought to you by Nelson Radio's newest show sponsor, STA Jets. You can charter anywhere in the world, providing charter services anywhere in the world, making sure that an individual or corporation arrives on time and has a fabulous experience. Give us a call. You can reach us at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click on nelsonradio.com. So let me follow up with this question in terms of the chemical test versus the evidential test. When you get down to the station, are you having to take tests there?
Well, yeah. And when we talk evidential test, Rob, the evidential test is either the blood or the breath test. Now, the breath test sometimes has some inaccuracy problems. So a lawyer may be able to fight about the breath test. Hey, it wasn't quite accurate, things like that.
Wasn't calibrated?
Absolutely. Sounds like a man that's been through the experience. But anyways, but you don't have a sample to retain. One of the good things about the blood test is you always have that sample to retain, to retest if you're the defense, to make some arguments if they haven't collected enough. But with that breath test, whatever you blow, whatever that number comes up, you're stuck with that number. You can fight the validity of the test. You can fight whether it was calibrated properly, whether it was air voided properly, all sorts of things.
But the number's the number.
The number's the number, and you never get to retest that breath. So that's why, in my experience, I'd rather have a client who took a blood test.
So when I get pulled, does it mean I'm going to jail?
Unfortunately, it does, Rob. You're not going to jail forever, of course, but you are going to jail. It's, your sober up time. And most people, if you're pulled over for a DUI and you're arrested, you should basically plan on being in custody for about 10 hours on your first DUI. Until you're released, and then obviously you're going to be released to somebody. And by those 10 hours, you should have sobered up. So you're safe to be back out there on the street.
Okay, so now I'm in jail. What's my first phone call? Am I calling my spouse? I'm okay. Am I calling an attorney? What am I doing?
Well, of course, the answer that I want to give you is you're calling an attorney.
Of course you would.
But what you want to do is they give you paperwork when you leave the jail. Read that paperwork, right? One of the first things that you want to do is you want to call DMV, and you want to make an appointment. You only have 10 days to call DMV. If you make no other calls, call DMV to make that what's called APS, Administrative Per Se Hearing. Extremely important. And then I'd call an attorney, and I'd just ask
DMV first, attorney second.
Yeah, ask an attorney just to walk you through. Most attorneys will give you that free consultation, whether it's in person or over the phone, and just kind of explain the system and how it works.
Okay, let me ask you this last question just to squeeze it in, and that's the reality. What's the reality if I get pulled over and arrested for a DUI of the chances of reducing the charge or eliminating the charge outright? Do these things get dismissed, or am I now in this club that nobody wants to be in?
No, I mean, you have a variety of answers to that. Of course, cases get dismissed, all right? What you want to do, and that's why you owe it to yourself to have a consultation with an attorney. Like I said, all you're really losing out on is time, because most attorneys will give you that free consultation. You want the attorney to be able to go through those police reports, make sure that you were pulled over properly, make sure that the police followed everything the police were supposed to do,
right.
Make sure you have that DMV hearing, make sure the paperwork for the DMV hearing was done correctly, make sure the blood draw was done correctly,
right.
the breath test was done correctly, and many times there are mistakes made.
And with that, there's the possibility of a reduction.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's also, just real quick, I'm sorry, Rob, there's also negotiations that people need to understand about not suffering that double suspension. And I know we're going to have a multi-part DUI segment. We're not going to cover it all today. So maybe I kind of wet our listeners' palates, and we're going to talk about double suspensions with DUIs and how to avoid them next time.
All right, you got it. You're listening to Nelson Radio, and I think it's wise counsel. There are many examples where life just gets in the way, and DUI is, not to minimize the seriousness of driving under the influence, but there are alternatives and specific steps that you got to follow. Mike can be reached through Nelson Radio at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or through nelsonradio.com. We have his link to his website there for the law office of Michael L. Fell down in Orange County. This segment brought to you by STA Charter Jets. Chartering anywhere in the world, making sure the individual or corporate client doesn't lose time or money.
And I want to tell you something else, too, that I just learned today.
What's that? Is
that they can also text me at 313131.
Text the word OCDUI.
And then OCDUI to that number.
3131. 888-888-2136. We'll be right back with Bram Klein from Keller Williams.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778, and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DUI license number 0235301.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction and record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055, or text the letters OC DUI to 313131 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. Welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm with my special guest host and legal expert, Michael Fell, from the law office of Michael Fell, an accomplished criminal defense attorney. And in our last segment, we talked a little bit about DUIs. I want to make certain our listeners know that they can reach you by texting the word OC DUI to 313131. That's OC DUI to 313131. And the perfect segue into the introduction of our guest here, our featured expert, Bram Klein from Keller Williams. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services. Text the word limo to 313131 so you can get a limo and a DUI attorney in 2 texts.
And you know what? If you took the limo to begin with, you probably wouldn't need to call me.
Yeah, let's get to Bram. Bram, welcome to the show. You're with Keller Williams down in Mission Viejo, right?
I am. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's, I want to make certain that everyone that's listening knows that Mike Fell and Bram Klein come from the same gene pool. You're what, 16 cousins?
We're second cousins.
Second cousins.
And don't do that. You know, here's the funny thing. When you said Bram Klein was going to be on the show,
right,
I said WTF with the family, right?
Nice.
Don't
text that.
In all candor, I heard that Bram. I heard you were going to be on the show, and I said, "This is Bram Klein," and so I didn't even know that
it was a surprise
that we had
you.
the connection. So
I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Hey, I want to go into where you've niched yourself in the industry and just ask you about that, where you find your business opportunities. How do you niche yourself?
Sure. I do most of my work in Orange County, primarily South Orange County, coastal communities, Aliso Viejo, Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach. And primarily it's a mix of clients. Our buyers are first-time buyers. We've got move-up buyers, young professionals in a townhome, something like that. They might be nesting, having their first child, and moving up to the next house. And so it's first-time buyers.
Bram, I want to cut you off right there and ask you, first-time home buyers coming into the marketplace and where home prices are first-time home buyers, newlyweds, having their first baby, going out and buying $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes?
They are. They're fortunate enough to maybe save some money and put a down payment down on a condo or townhome, or maybe ask family for some help in putting money down.
Yeah, thanks for pointing to me when you're asking for family help.
Exactly.
Hey, cuz, let me ask you this: the market out there seems like it's so cruel to buyers right now. I mean, it seems like there's 50 buyers for every one house that's out there. Tell me a little bit about what your team does to assist these buyers.
Yeah, sure. You hit upon a good point. It's a really frustrating time. If you are a buyer working with an agent right now, you really need a very proactive, aggressive agent team to work with you. In particular, in our team, I specialize in focusing on selling homes, and our buyer team just focuses 100% on our buyers. And that gives them the flexibility to go out and find the homes that the buyers are looking for. People are frustrated because they're depending a lot on the multiple listing service, right? You're going on to the major websites and so forth and waiting for a home to pop and to come on. Well, so are all the other thousands and thousands of buyers. So by waiting and having an agent wait for something to hit the multiple listing service, it's not the way to do it anymore. You actually have to go back to the old school way.
So tell me about what you guys... He's my cousin, Rob, so I think I'll ask some questions here.
That's great. I'll just be over here.
And Mike's more fun to look at. So.
No, thank you. So we've got, like I said, tell us a little bit, if you can, give away a little secret as to what special attention do you give your buyers so, quite frankly, they want to go to Keller Williams. They want to go with Bram Klein.
Yeah, no, of course. For instance, we just got a call from a new client that was actually up in L.A. They're moving down to Orange County for work, and they've been looking for a house since last August, and they haven't been able to obtain one. The agent's been writing offers and just being one of like 50, 60 different offers. So what we do different is, my team and I, we go old school like I was talking about. We pretend that the multiple listing service just doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Right? We go back to the networking with all the other agents that are out there that we've worked with for years. And, we ask them, what other listings do you have coming up? This one might not work out for you, or you've already have a couple offers on this one. Do you have anything else coming up on the market? And those relationships are really, really, you have to depend on them. It's special.
So your clients can kind of hit these homes before they make it out to the MLS, which puts them in a line of maybe a single line or maybe no other people looking at the homes as opposed to the 50 or 60 waiting in line.
Exactly, and that's what you need your agents to do now, is basically just, again, go back to what worked in the past, and it's either door knocking on neighborhoods. If you've defined, let's say, the port streets of Newport Beach, if there's a certain area that you want to live in, your agent should be proactive and aggressive and go out door by door if it's okay in the neighborhood or if it's okay with the city, and go out and find that person that wants to sell. It's called a private sale, and that's what we're after.
So the other part of your clientele is the move-up buyer, and I talk to all of these people through the finance sector, and so many of them think that they can identify property, go it alone, make offers, that they don't really need the expertise of an agent in this marketplace. But that's false, isn't it?
It is false. They really need a professional to protect them throughout the entire process and negotiate hard. I mean, that's our job, is to negotiate for the best price for our buyers. And, of course, the listing agent's going to do the exact same thing for their sellers. So, yes, they need to work with a professional.
Well, like the example that you had shared in your Aliso Viejo market, in terms of property comes on the market, there's 70 offers in the first day, and you don't want to be in that cattle herd.
No, that's correct. I mean, there's too many people thinking as soon as something comes on the market, I'm going to be the first one, I'm going to be the highest offer and so forth. And unfortunately, 70 offers, you're now you're getting the price up higher and higher and higher. The best thing to do is just find a proactive agent, look in the community, see if there's anything else that's out there, or something maybe that didn't sell last year or 2 years ago, or something that's leased that might be coming up for sale.
I think following up on what Nelson said, I think there's people out there thinking, well, I don't want to pay 3% to an agent, and the other side said, I don't want to pay 3%. Hey, let's just do it on our own. Have you found that, hey, the people who don't pay that 3% or don't pay that 6% end up paying more or selling their house less than they would have if they had an agent?
For sure. And, I'd probably recommend contacting a real estate attorney, because that's just going to be a whole mess. We're trained, obviously. We're professionals. We know how to protect both the buyer and the seller. And, it's our job. It's our job to make our clients the most amount of money. And that's on the selling side.
With the housing numbers that all look so positive right now, there's all sorts of economic and political debate going on. Is this housing recovery, is it on sound footing? Are we in a good place on the forefront of a new housing cycle? What do you think?
I think so. I think we're doing okay. We're seeing the builders are out building more properties. We've got a lot going on in Irvine. We've got the new Rancho Mission Viejo area. So we're seeing a lot of money going back into the communities, and it's I think it is a good time to get in. we do see some appreciation coming up. And I think this is the sweet time. I think this is the time when, if you've had a short sale or foreclosure in the past, it's time to get back and be that boomerang buyer, get back into the market.
Exactly.
That's good info.
Thank you, Bram. That's Bram Klein from Keller Williams down in Mission Viejo. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services. If you need a limo, Mike, you can text the word limo to 313131 with questions for Bram or Mike Fell or myself. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back with Jim Herrick and Coach's Corner.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower costs. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DUI license 0235301.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back. You're with Nelson Radio. We're moving into the Coach's Corner with Coach Jim Herrick and our panel of experts. This segment brought to you by Title365. Their vision and communication brings your real estate transaction status live. Give us a call anytime. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. I want to welcome Coach Herrick to the program. How are you, Coach?
Good, Robbie. How you doing?
Good. We've been looking at the numbers throughout this show and operating off the old adage, the numbers don't lie. And my question to you to kick off Coach's Corner is, can the numbers lie?
Well, you hit a point with me because I always look at statistics on a basketball team, and a lot of times they tell you a true measure of a lot of things. But then there are some players who play the game that do all the things that never show up in the stats. So you've got to have a feeling about just what you want to get accomplished. As long as you're in the game and have some experience, you'll have a good gut feeling about whether those numbers are right or those numbers are not right, and whether you can adjust them, whether you can, make money from a certain area or not. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But it comes back to the experience you have and the feeling you have about it.
Hey, Coach Mike Fell here. Thanks so much for being on the show.
My pleasure, Mike.
Let me ask you a question. When you'd have a player that got too down on his numbers, his rebound numbers were low or his points scored were low, what kind of advice would you give to him to keep him up and not have him staring at those numbers?
Well, every parent and every coach of a youth coach of a player, all they think about is they want him to score. But you don't have to score to play a good game. All you do is have to play. If you're not touching the ball, go get an offensive rebound. Mm-hmm. Guard somebody, get a rebound, get an assist, get a deflection, dive on the floor, take a charge. There's all kinds of things that you can do to have an effect on the outcome of maybe a purchase, a sale, or something. So there's a lot of things that can go on, and I relate it to a basketball game, a lot of things that can go on that a player can control. A guy brings you mind is Lamar Odom, who plays with the Clippers. He does all the things that never show up in the stats that are good, but he doesn't have a lot of stats, but he's invaluable to his team.
It's funny, Coach, because when I was playing ball, my coach would always say, "Hey, Fel, go get everyone some water." So he'd ask me to get stuff too.
Well, you can be a cream and sugar guy and still contribute.
There you go. Hey, Coach, thanks for being with us.
All right, fellas, have a good time.
Thanks so much,
Bye.
Coach.
Mike, it's one of the things when you're talking about if you're down, whether that's in an athletic sense or in a business sense, or coming out of the recession and getting reemployed, reestablishing your credit, coming out of a foreclosure. And I think one of the things that I always look to is doing something different than what you did that got you into trouble in the first place. I don't know if you ever heard this saying, but if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you already have.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that's where Coach Herrick is so insightful on having that gut feeling of, okay, the numbers are pointing me this direction, but I have a feeling that got to do this a little different.
Well, what I love about Coach Herrick, too, is he inspires you. He talks about that inspiration. So exactly what you said, and I don't care what you do for a living or what's going on in your life. If those numbers are getting you down, then you know what? Figure out what you can do to stay away. Don't look at those numbers, but look at your business and look at yourself and what can we do to make things better.
So let's go to our market analyst, Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com. Again, quickly, our number is 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136. I was hoping you could clear the confusion out there in terms of where home buyers are coming from.
Well, everybody thinks everybody's distressed and everybody's unemployed because that's what everybody talks about is unemployment, foreclosure, short sales. But that's keep in mind, we're talking 8% of the population is unemployed. Well, that leaves 92% that's not, as well as a whole bunch of people that are distressed. They talk about all the numbers of people that are upside down. Let's call it 17.5% in L.A., Orange County. Well, let's look at the numbers that are not 82.5%. There's a lot of people that have good jobs, good income, and they're ready to buy because it's been a long time since we've had a good cycle.
I like that. You're using the Coach Herrick approach there.
Absolutely.
I love it. So let me ask you this. Tell me a couple things. Number one, what's the reality of short sales? And then if you could just give a quick explanation for morons like myself, and what exactly is a short sale?
Well, short sales are where you owe more than your home is worth. So if you have a loan for $500,000, but you can only sell for $400,000, you're short. So you have to go to the lender and ask them to accept less. when you finally do sell. But the reality of short sales is it's way down. The reason why it's way down, it's about 50% down right now from the beginning of the year to now compared to last year, and that's because values are on the rise, and those people who might have thought of doing a short sale are now sitting on the sidelines going, I'm going to wait because now I'm going to finally have some equity and I'll finally be able to get out of this without being scathed.
So those numbers are good.
Yes, they're on their way up.
Perfect. Thanks for being with us. That's market analyst Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com. This segment brought to you by Title 365, bringing you real estate transaction status to the point. On your iPad, on your iPhone, current status. They're one of the innovators, Mike. I can't tell people about this, but they're one of the innovators.
I know. Yeah, maybe you ought to take the marbles out of your mouth before we do the next show.
Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or text my name, Nelson, to 313131. We'll be right back. This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction and record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055. Or text the letters OC DUI to 313131 for the law office of Michael L. Fell.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title 365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive savings saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DUI license number 0235301.
Welcome back. I'm with guest host Mike Fell, and we're moving into our Stump the Experts segment of Nelson Radio, brought to you by Envoy Mortgage, providing our exclusive close-on-time guarantees. Accountability from a lender, Mike. That's something that's what? That's like a lawyer that doesn't bill out, huh?
Exactly. I'm sure that they're gonna appreciate that little plug you gave them.
There you go. Give us a call. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Mike, we received some emails this week, and let's see if we can get some answers out there for them.
Fantastic. And this is the first, I feel like Johnny Carson. Envelope number 1.
There you go.
This is what a listener wants to know. Nelson, I'm in escrow to buy a new house. How do I properly insure my home purchase?
And this is something that I spoke to our insurance partner, Insurance Inc., and he was saying that so many companies try and cut premiums because that's really the only thing that people are staring at is what their premium costs are, but their replacement cost is what they usually shave down. And if there is a tragedy and you need to rebuild your home, people are finding themselves underinsured. So the answer is ask your insurance guide or insurance carrier for a replacement cost guide in order to establish how much you should insure for.
Okay, good. You were not stumped. So let's try number 2 then. Listener says, someone suggested I should have a mortgage plan. Explain to me what that is and how I can benefit from it. Nelson, do you know what a mortgage plan is?
I do, and here's where so many people get into thinking, especially in this market, there's one mortgage. It's a 30-year fix, but there are so many different alternatives. 2 examples. Somebody that's maybe your age, 65 years old, heading to the finish line of their career.
I appreciate that.
You don't want to get into a 30-year mortgage. You want to time or consider a 15-year mortgage so that it's going to get to the finish line of your highest income earning years at the same time that your income begins to go down in retirement. Biweekly payments. You can get into a 30-year mortgage making payments biweekly, and that cuts down the repayment period from 30 years down to about 22 and a half years. But a lot of people don't know that. You end up making the same mortgage payment, but just mathematically how it works out with the interest, it's going to save you money.
All right. Number 3. You're 2 for 2, Rob. I am being offered a home equity line by my bank. I thought this was how the real estate market got into trouble in the first place.
And it's exactly right. This is what home equity lines, people are tapping into their equity again, effectively using their equity as an ATM. And it's dangerous. I don't agree with it. I think people should only have home equity lines for that who would have thunk moment that comes up in life.
The emergency situation.
The emergency situation, but not to be using as just, hey, I want to go travel here or buy this. Okay, Mike, let me throw a question at you. Listener emailed us. They have a neighbor. Incessant barking coming out of the dog. What do they do?
Well, first of all, they move away from you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is your next door neighbor. No, I see this so many times. And the bottom line is this. I know this sounds crazy. You got to call the police because you need a record of it. And depending on what your jurisdiction is, they will keep a record of how many times until they issue a notice. If it becomes, and a lot of times these barking dog issues become into when neighbors are actually either A, becoming violent physically or verbally with each other. And at that stage of the game, you need to be looking at a restraining order. So in any of those cases, call the police. You can also, again, consult an attorney. Most attorneys are going to give you a free consultation about this.
There you have it. Stump the Experts. I'm with guest host Mike Fell. We're in that Stump the Experts segment, and this segment brought to you by Envoy Mortgage, providing our exclusive close-on-time guarantees. Our number, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. And, Mike, I wanted to jump over at the close of our show to Treasures of Africa, our sponsor orphanage that we're raising awareness for, raising sponsors for kids. We've got little man Tate on air with us. Wanted to ask him about this week's child.
This week's child, I chose Benny, and he's a 15-year-old. And why I chose him is because the funds that go towards Treasures of Africa is they go towards education. And what's great is when he comes out of this program, he's going to come out able to get a better job instead of going to the sugarcane fields and cutting down sugarcane. So Benny is going to be a good role model soon.
And that's the theme behind Treasures of Africa, that they're developing leaders, community leaders, country leaders, people that can come back and make a difference in the environment that this very impoverished country is in.
Yeah, and education's the first step.
Awesome. Little Benny's going to be on our website. And this is our Treasures of Africa down in Moshi, Tanzania. They're looking for sponsors. They currently house 50 kids. They're building a new orphanage down there on a 5-acre parcel that's going to house 126 children.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot of
and this is what we want to do.
Affected.
We want one donor to step forward. One donor out there that can step forward with a $2 million gift, and that would build out this entire compound, the new school, the medical facility, the housing facility. It'd be a fantastic opportunity and one that would leave a thumbprint on a lot of kids, like you're saying.
That's wonderful. Yep.
It's been a great show, Mike. We've got our bests of the day. The numbers don't lie has been our theme, and we've seen a lot of examples where you got to listen to the numbers. And
by the way, I'm excited about the 1 in 42 million shot I've got to become the president of the United States.
I know it. That'll be good. We had Bram Klein on with us, our market professional from Keller Williams, getting offers accepted. That was a fantastic theme. Of course, we appreciate Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com. Special thanks to my guest host, Mike Fell from the law office of Michael L. Fell.
And future president.
And, of course, our producer, the technical cornerstone of Clear Channel, Phil Giangron. Thanks for being with us. We want your opinion. This whole show is about black and white opinions, no shades of gray. Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. This segment brought to you by Envoy Mortgage with their close-on-time guarantee. We'll look forward to being with you next week.